Listen, I made $2,100 in one weekend with my first 6 coaching clients while still working my Fortune 500 job. That same client, one of them who paid $350, she later invested $20,000 with me. And here's what I did differently that you need to know if you're thinking about starting to own your own business. I'm Jenny Lopez, Puerto Rican mom, former Fortune 500 executive with 23 years in leadership. And I'm going to be sharing the real story on how I got my first clients, including the limiting beliefs that almost stopped me from charging what I was worth. Okay, if you want me to be honest with you, let me tell you about something that held me back for a long time, way too long. When you work in corporate, and I spent over 2 decades in manufacturing, mergers and acquisitions, I was a COO in business, a VP of talent acquisition, and yet you develop this mindset about money that is so limiting. You get paid per hour. Or even if you get a salary, what do? You divide it by the hours that you actually work, and you think that number, that dollar per hour figure is your worth. I had this so deeply ingrained in me. And when I started thinking about my first offer, I was even terrified to set a price because I kept doing the math in my head. Well, I'm delivering 2 half-day sessions. That's about 8 hours of content plus prep time. So maybe, no. Here's what I didn't understand yet. And this is the shift that changed everything for me. They are not paying you for your time. They are not even paying for you. They are paying for a desired outcome. And once they get that outcome, it will be worth 10 times more than what they invested, or even priceless because of the impact on their personal lives and everybody around them. But I had to learn that the hard way. So the corporate mindset was dollar per hour equals your worth. The business mindset is that outcome value equals your worth. Now here's what I did right, even though I didn't even fully realize it at the time. I started building my personal plan 4.5 years before I even left corporate. And let me say that again because this is critical. I built my brand when I did not need it yet. I always tell people the best time to start your personal brand is when you don't need it. And the second best time? Now. And here's what it looked like for me. I had mentored so many Latino corporate leaders who were struggling with the same issues I had faced. Imposter syndrome, not being seen, feeling invisible, feeling that they have to check all these extra check the box marks, and not seeing representation at the C-suite. Even feeling like we have to work twice as hard to get half of the recognition. So I started sharing that on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. And not just the wins, but the learnings too. I was posting about empowerment, about education, authenticity, the real stuff. The messy middle, not like everything was wonderful. The breakthroughs, but also the setbacks. Because here's what I know from my executive career. People don't just want the highlight reel. They want to know that you've been where they are. And this is not the norm for Latinos in corporate, right? I had decades of training, certifications, and also proven successful executive leadership career. I wanted to use that to accelerate everyone else's journey. So what did I do? I kept showing up consistently, sharing my experience, and building trust. And when I was ready to launch my first offer, I already had an audience that knew me, they liked me, they even trusted me. And that's the power of personal branding. Think about personal branding like planting seeds when you don't need the harvest yet. Okay, remember that $2,100 weekend that changed everything? Okay, so here's how it actually went down. I created a 2 half-day program based on my own experience. Everything I had learned from decades of training, certifications, and leading at a Fortune 500 company. I packaged it into a transformation process for Latino leaders who wanted to step into their full leadership potential. And I posted it on my social media. 6 people jumped at it, $350 each. Now, listen, when you start a business, you have a ton of limiting beliefs. And when it comes to setting a price for your first offer, it's even worse. $2,100 doesn't seem like a lot of money to some people. But let me tell you, to me at that moment, ended up being validation. It was proof that people will invest in outcomes, that what I had to offer had value beyond my corporate title. And when they say yes, I knew they trusted me. These were people from my organic reach, people who already knew me, and I knew them from my content or from my network or at work. But here's where it became something bigger than a business. When I saw the transformation firsthand, when I watched them break through the same barriers that I had broken through, when they started showing up differently in their careers and in their lives. That's when it went from being a business to being a mission, a movement. And they gave me the most incredible testimonials, and that inspired me to expand. So then I started thinking about creating a 12-week program, and then I raised the price to $3,500. From $350 to $3,500. That's a big jump. And again, amazing outcomes, repeat clients, people whose lives were genuinely transformed. And that confidence I was starting to get, that came from the outcomes my clients were getting, not from me, but from them. Now, here's where personal branding really started to prove its power. I started getting ideal clients, not just clients, ideal clients that I didn't know from my own community. And they will say to me, I think I already know you. And then I started thinking, oh goodness, did I forget? How did we meet? When did we meet? And they'll laugh and say, well, no, I mean, I see you in LinkedIn and Instagram and on Facebook. And that is what happens when you build a personal brand that is authentic, but also consistent. And they feel that they know me because I have been showing up, sharing my story, adding value, being real. And you know, one of those $350 clients from the beginning, like I mentioned, years later, she enrolled in coaching with me for $20,000. Why? Because she experienced the outcome the first time. And she knew the transformation was worth 10 times, 100 times more than the investment. My offers range everything from $3,000 to $100,000. And honestly, I've invested over $500,000. Yes, you heard that right. $500,000 in business education, certification, trainings with the best of the best. Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Dan Martell, just to mention a few. Because I'm always innovating. I'm always expanding myself, always serving at a higher level. But during this transition, here's one thing that I did well. I never charged per hour. It was about a transformation process, a desired outcome. And I developed my own authentic way of enrolling clients, not the one-size-fits-all masculine energy approach that many coaches push on me. I don't take the no's personally because I know the ideal yes is just around the corner. I just need to make sure that they know I exist and that I can help them solve their problem. So if you're still in corporate, but you're planning your exit, or if you're thinking about starting a coaching business on the side or full-time, a consulting business, any business, here's what I want you to take away. 1, start your personal brand now. Not when you need it, when you don't need it yet. Number 2, share your expertise, your wins, and your learnings. Be authentic, be consistent. Number 3, price for outcomes, not for your time. You're not selling hours, you're selling transformation. Number 4, your corporate experience. That is not a liability. That's your superpower. Use it. My 23 years in Fortune 500 leadership gave me the experience, the tools, the confidence, the immediate trust to best help my clients. And your experience will do the same thing for you. And if you want to learn the exact personal branding framework I used to build a 6-figure business while working full-time, subscribe to this channel because I'm about to break that down next week. Remember, this is not just about building a business, it's about creating a mission and a movement. So let's do this together. And if you like this video, make sure that you subscribe and share. And also let me know what other questions I can help you with. That's the only reason I started this channel, so we can grow together. All right, I'll see you on the next video.